Siamo qui a Roma, Michel Jarre qui per presentare la sua ultima fatica, la sua ultima opera, Chronologie. Hello, Michel Jarre.
Hello.
Welcome to Video Music.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about the philosophy that lies behind the concept of Chronologie?
So, Chronologie is a special project to me because it's in a way, in my own chronology, a kind of cycle that I've done since Oxygen and Equinox, my first records. It's a kind of voyage through time, about time. It's an instrumental piece made of few songs, few tracks, but there is just one generic name, Chronologie, with various parts like Oxygen was, and I think that in a sense people who have liked Oxygen or Equinox should like this concept of chronology, because I'm in the state of mind I've done chronologies. It's quite close to what I've done for Oxygen, using a lot of the old synthesizers of the 70s, and like the Moog synthesizer, which I consider like kind of Stradivarius of electronic music in a sense, and mixed with the digital loops and the beat of the dance scene or the rave scene of the 90s. In a sense, it's a Chronologie is a kind of mixture between the sound of the 70s and the sound of the 90s.
And I noticed that these are mostly, wait, I see the cameraman. Mi metto qua per la seconda domanda. Ok. Because he wants you to look in the camera.
Ah, ok, sì, sì, va bene.
Io metto la voce su altri mic. Okay. It's a strong research in time, so, because you bring together old sounds and new sounds together, so moving into the future with this strong sense of time and space, too.
Yes, the idea really was to try to put together the sense of time, like Oxygen was a concept about environment, and the idea was to also to try to create this kind of bridge through my own time between the 70s and the 90s.
In one section of this press release we had, I see a writing about women, about a concept about femininity. Can you explain to us?
I mean, you know, at the end of the 20th century, we are all chasing a kind of identity through time. I mean, the making comparison between the 90s toward the 70s, or the 60s toward the comparison of the 40s, and since the beginning of the century, where we were counting time with seasons, cycle of moons, now we are ending the century by counting time in milliseconds through computers and digital instruments. And I consider that the only non-moving, the stable cycle of our lives is the cycles of women, and through our lives, I mean, our lives are scanned, rhythmed by women from the day we are born till the end. So this is the idea really behind the fact that on the cover of Chronologie you have these 5 generic women. They're almost the same, but each of them are slightly different, like women are. I mean, the same but always different.
Women in this moment are having, maybe because of the opportunities that they have received socially, etc., they're demonstrating a great strength, great imagination, and great perseverance. Many women feel that this is the epoch of a woman. Do you think this is the moment that women will realize? I
agree. I mean, in the chronology of the century, I think that definitely the end of the century is the end of the century for, I was going to say for the woman, but I think it's rather the fact that everybody realizes the strength of women. I mean, the world has always been driven, whatever we like it or not, by women, by the strength of women, and I consider women stronger than men. And it's probably the reason why they don't you have maybe more creators in history who are male than female, because maybe a female has not to prove to herself that she's able to create, because she's able to create life, and the men are always trying to compete by trying to compete the ultimate creation, which is life, by making music or movies or books. And I think women in that sense are less obsessed with creation in the day-to-day life, because they're able to give birth.
Yeah, they have nothing to demonstrate.
That's right.
This tour is going to start very soon at Mont St Michel in a few days. What kind of visuals are you preparing for? You've worked a lot with...
Yes, I mean this series of concerts is called Europe in Concert. It's a very unusual and particular project. It's a series of concerts. It's my first tour in that sense, because I've done one-off events until today, and this series of concerts will be one-off events in each country. And the principle of it, the concept of it, is that I design a kind of scenography of 150 meters wide by 25 meters high, surrounding the stage, the main stage, made of screens of various sizes, from 4 meters to a 8-story building as a size. And on those screens you will have projections of giant images or laser animations, not laser effects like in discotheques, but real images, 3D images, and architecture of lights, all synchronized to the music I'm going to play on stage. And it's a format in which I truly believe, since these last 10 years, I think that it's also to try to escape and to propose to the audience an alternative to the rock concert format. If you think that, I mean, since the beginning of rock and roll, I mean, the visual concept is more or less the same. I mean, we could even consider on a visual point of view and the conceptual point of view that there is no main difference between the Elvis performance and a Michael Jackson's performance, for instance. And I think these days, with the technology we have, with the visual tools we have, people like us, French, Italians, the Latin countries of Europe, have a visual tradition, a link with, like during the opera era, to work as musicians with visual artists, visual techniques. And it's what I'm trying to do with the tools of my time, with lasers or paint box or video, to try to get a better conviviality for an outdoor situation. I think we are all very frustrated more and more to go to a stadium, to go to an outdoor place, and seeing the only focal point is an artist as big as that, like an ant. And that causes, for the audience, a lot of frustration. I think you must match, and it's what I'm trying to do for Europe in Concert, and what I'm trying to do in Roma, because I'm in this Europe in Concert project. I'm going to perform in various countries, including Italy, and in Roma it will be the Stadio Flaminio. It's what I'm trying to do, is to match the scale of the audience, to give more conviviality in terms of a very special PA system, sound that can really surround the people, and also the audience, and also on the visual point of view, to get the real scale of the audience.